Okay, so we're going to start looking at the logarithmic section, or logs. Now, what I'm going to start with is I'm going to graph x equals 2 to the y. And the reason is that logs are the inverses of exponentials. And if you remember from the inverse section, remember when we swapped the x's and y's around? Okay, so here we go. When y is 0, x is 1. Down there, okay? When y is 1, x is 2. Whoops, so what's that? That's there. Okay, y is 1, x is 2. When y is 2, x is 4. So when x is 4, y is 2. Okay, that's going to be 8. So again, when x is 8, y is 3. That's that point there. How about 4? What's that going to it's going to be 16. So 4, 16. What's that over there? Somewhere over there. Okay. Now, how about negatives? All right, again, 2 to the negative 1. Remember that's 1 over half. Just look at the previous graph we did with exponentials. It's just that the x's and y's are swapped around, so that's going to be 1/4. So I can see maybe there. Okay, maybe there. So what it's going to look like is something like this. Now, what I'm going to have this time is a vertical asymptote, which is the y-axis. Okay, the y-axis is a vertical asymptote. In other words, x equals 0. So again, the graph will get closer and closer to that, but not touch it. It's a vertical asymptote, okay? So that is x equals 2 to the y. You're going to find out that that is actually log to base 2 of x. That's what I've graphed if we turn it in terms of logs, okay? So let's have a look at carry on going. Okay, so again, logs. But if I transfer these to an exponential form, what I'm trying to say here is this. Log to base 5 of 25, okay? I'm trying to say, okay, what is that? Okay? What this means is, what power do I need to raise 5 to get to 25? Well, can you see that's going to be 2? And that's the answer. So if I look at this here, okay, again, I want to know what that is. What that means is, what do I need to raise it to get to 32? Well, can you see that's going to be 5? Okay, that says 5. So again, with here, what's the answer? Okay, so 22. What do I need to raise it to get to 22? Well, that's just 1. Okay, so the answer is 1. Don't know why I've repeated it there. Okay, so how about this one? What's the answer? Okay, in other words, 3. What do I need to raise it to get to 1? Well, that is 0, okay? Now, whenever you log a 1, no matter what the base is, the answer is going to be 0. Remember 3 to the power 0 is 1? Just like this here. What do I need to raise it to? 7. What do I need to raise it to get to 1? It's going to be 0, okay? So again, whenever you log a 1, you're going to get 0. How about this? Okay, so what this is saying is, what do I need to raise 10 to? Whoops, I've given you the answer, haven't I? Okay, it's 2, isn't it? 10 squared is 100. So log to base 10 of 100 must be 2. So what's this one? 10, what do I need to raise it to get to 10,000? Okay, well that is 4. Clue for this is, look, 2 zeros, so 10 to the 2. 4 zeros, so 10 to the 4. Now then, how about these? A bit more difficult. If I was to write log to base 10 of 1,000, hopefully you'd realise that would be 3, okay? Because 10 to the power 3 would give me 1,000 in its exponential form. So because this is 1,000th, not 1,000, it's going to be negative 3. Again, remember, if you flip it upside down. Okay, so whenever you log fractions, you're going to get negative answers. So look at this. If I was to go here, if I do log to base 5 of 25, remember that back up here, or right up here? There it is, okay, is 2, then log to base 5 of 1/25 must be negative 2, okay? So think about that. Let's do lots of them. If I do log to base 2 of 8, that's going to be 3, because 2 to the power 3 is 8. So if I log to base 2 of 1/8, then that must be negative 3. Hopefully you can see the pattern there, okay? Right, let's have a look at another slide. Okay, right. If I write this like this, log to base 3 of 3 to the power half, because that's what the square root of 3 is, then the answer is going to be a half, okay? Because 3 to the power half, okay, is the square root of 3. Now, what it is it's actually this pattern. Look at this. Log to base a of a to the x is x. Try and remember that, okay? I'll do this. Look, watch this. Log to base 10 of 10 to the 3 is 3. Log to base 7 of 7 to the pi is pi, okay? So it's just a pattern. So you'll see it happen there. Look at that. That answer is going to be 2. That answer is going to be 7. So this answer is going to be a half because root 6, again, remember, is 6 to the half, okay? So, again, now these here. Now what's missing here is log to base 10, you're going to sometimes see it just as the word log. You have to assume it's 10. Any other base has to be written. Any other base, okay, has to be written. If you just see the word log, you've got to assume there's a 10 there. Just like if you see the word ln, this is natural logs. It's a button on your calculator. What that actually is base e. Remember the e from that compound interest formula we did earlier? Okay, so again, what we're saying here is that this question here, okay, this question here, if I can just erase and give you some space down here. So if I write it down here, ln of e to the 3 is like saying log to base e of e to the 3. So the answer is just 3. So here, the answer is just negative 5, okay, for that question there. I think that's pretty much it. Let's have a look at some of the rest. There's a couple here at the bottom here. Let's have a look at these two here. Now then, okay, so log to base 25 of 5. I'm going to have to do quite a few of these. Okay, let's have a look at the original one here. Log to base 5 of 25. That way around. Remember that was 2? Because 5 to the power 2 will give you 25. We also had log to base 5 of 1/25, and that was negative 2, because 5 to the negative 2 will give you 1/25. So, here we go. 25 to what power will give you 5? Okay, 25 to what power is going to give you 5? And the answer to this is negative 2. Okay, no it's not, no it's not. That was the previous one. It is a half. Okay? Because, think about it, what's the square root? Remember power of half? Square root of 25 is 5. So I should write these down all together now. Let's just do this, just make it clear it up and get a bit confusing. So remember, log to base 5 of 25 is 2. Log to base 5 of 1/25 is negative 2. And log to base 25 of 5 is 1/2. So notice that 2. Notice that 2 is everywhere in the answer. Can you see that? So notice that the 5 and the 25, they're kind of all there, and we always get a 2 in some ways as the answer. Okay, so I'll just quickly do, I'll just make another one up. Let's hopefully you get the pattern to this. Log to base 2 of 8 is 3, because 2 to the power 3 is 8. Log to base 2 of 1/8 is therefore negative 3. Because remember, 2 to the negative 3 is 1/2 to the positive 3, which is the 1/8. Okay. So finally, how about log to base 8 of 2? Remember, that must be 1/3. Okay, again, because what I'm saying is a third means cube root. What's the cube root of 8? It's 2. Hopefully you followed that. Not as easy as you might think. Okay.